Hello, and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the astrology of August 30th through September 5th. And we're going to be talking about what Venus is up to for the next couple of months. This is a biggie. So you definitely want to listen to this episode because who doesn't want to know what Venus is doing? Remember, Venus is love, but she's all relationships. She's women, she's sisters, she's art, she's comfort, she's luxury, she's fun, right? She's money. Money in the sense of what it buys us. I'm telling you, who doesn't want to know what's going on with Venus? And that's what we're going to be talking about because it's a complicated story. Before we get into it, I am running a gigantic and I think kind of interesting special right now. It's a choose your own special. And it's all complicated and everything. So go back and listen to the episode right before this one. I will try to remember to link it in the show notes, but it's the episode right before this one. And you want to listen to that. It's just a real quickie. All it does is talk about the special, tells you what your options are. Basically, book any reading, and you get either 20 minutes added onto it, a 20-minute card reading, or a 20-minute chart analysis to look at past life issues. And you're also entered to win. I'm giving one person a bottle of custom-made flower essences just for them and their needs and goals. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell, but go back and listen to that and get the dates and all of that kind of thing, all right? The other thing I wanted to talk about before I get into Venus and all of her shenanigans is the fact that I am traveling this week. I'm going up to Portland to do a home inspection because, as you all know, I'm trying to move. So I'm going to keep this a little bit short. I'm not going to go into the sign by signs, so please forgive me on that. But I think what you really want to hear at this point, because we're in pre-retrograde shadow this week, okay? So what you really want to know is the dates. You want to know the themes that are coming up so that you can be on the lookout. I promise you next week I will do a sign by sign, okay? But I wanted to get you started because these dates are really important and you want to start paying attention to what's showing up in your life because it's going to be the back and forth kind of thing, you know, just like in a Mercury retrograde, except with Venus kind of things, yeah? Again, I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm doing this special right now in part to say thank you, and also because I am limiting the work that I do outside of the home, outside of my home office. And so I've got some spaces that are going to be opening up, and I would really like to get those filled moving forward. So if you would please do me a solid and share the podcast in your social media, talk to friends about it, share it with people, let them know about the special because it's, you know, for them too, for anybody you want to share that with. So if people have been wanting to work with me, you can literally sign up for a 30-minute reading if you've already done your natal with me, and then get another 20 minutes of something or another added onto it. I think it's a really good deal, and I think it's going to be fun. All right. Thank you for being here, sharing all the stuff, and let's get into what's going on this week, okay? The other aspect that's happening this week that I want to make you very, very aware of, because it's going to be intense. On the 1st, we have Mars in Cancer squaring, that's a tense aspect, something that's going to be tense and need to be navigated, Saturn in Aries, all right? Mars is the lesser malefic, Saturn is the greater malefic, and they're in a tense angle. So, yeah, September 1st, like honestly, after my car accident, that's a day I would just sit out. I would stay home and I don't know, do like watch old movies. So what could this be? Mars, at very, very least, I think we're going to be feeling this push-pull between I want to go fast, I want to start something new, I wanna, and this like, no, you don't get to. Take it slow. You've got to set the foundation. You've got to take your steps carefully in whatever it is you're trying to launch, right? So look at Aries. Aries is about the individual, my plans, my goals, my intention. Cancer, which is where Mars is emotions, nurturing, that kind of thing. So there may be some conflict between you wanting to move forward in an emotional relationship or deep in your emotions and you're ready to go. And you may be getting some pushback going, no, let's take it slow. That's the kind of thing. Now, that could be, passion for a project, emotional passion for a project that you want to launch. It's not necessarily love emotion, but it certainly can be, right? It certainly can be. Whatever it is, there's this need to go fast and then hitting the boundary, hitting the wall. That's what Saturn is. So interesting. It's interesting. The only thing that's saving it at all is Saturn is in a Mars-ruled sign. So I think ultimately there will be forward movement and that desire to be the individual, my goals, my whatever it is, I think that's ultimately going to win. I think it's just going to be frustrating before it does. So you want to launch even faster. And there's some kind of emotional involvement. And I think you will launch whatever this is, relationship, new job, whatever it is. I just think there's going to be some frustration and some snags that don't let it go quite as fast. Or it might even be a thing where you're feeling very independent about something you want to do, and other people's emotions are dragging you down. So there's something in there, right? Something in there. But it's not a long transit. I would say by the second or third, we're going to be over this. So compared to the eclipses, y'all, this is like a big old nothing, but it's not a nothing, if you get what I'm saying. All right. That's the only other thing really going on. If it weren't for, but that's the one all the astrologers are talking about, actually, the Mars Saturn thing, but I would rather talk about Venus. So let's get into Venus. So we are going to start with some dates. I want you to have your natal chart. You know what? I've had a bunch of new clients recently, a whole bunch. And every single one of them, after we went through their natal chart and did that 90-minute reading where we really deep dived the natal chart, every single one of them said something to the effect of like, wow, now I get what you're talking about in the podcast. So here's what you need to do. Pull up your natal chart in front of you and really think about what houses are going to be affected by this Venus thing. Okay, I'm going to give you dates and I'm going to give you signs. Look for those signs in your natal chart. Those are the houses that are going to be affected. All right, what am I talking about? On August 31st, Venus will be at 22 degrees Libra. Now, Venus is really powerful at this point. She rules Libra. She's the queen on her own throne. She is glorious and splendid. Some of us are going to be doing good art. We're going to be falling in love. We're going to be making money or getting new ideas about making money, doing great at work, getting recognition. It's good when Venus is in Libra. What it is, though, is she begins her pre-retrograde shadow. Starting on the 31st, I would journal or do whatever works for you. Write on sticky notes. I don't know what's going on in the Venus-y kinds of themes in your life, because you're going to go forward for a while, a good long while. All right, I'll give you the dates, I promise. And then she's going to retrograde and go back over those degrees before turning direct and going back over them a third time. So the story that starts this week, yeah, it's not done. That's what I want you to know. And that's why I think knowing about like pre-shadow time is so important. What kind of Venus things are happening? Because I promise you at the beginning, especially because she's starting out in her own sign, it's going to seem like, oh my gosh, my art is great. I met the love of my life. This is my dream job. And that may all be true, but it's not going to be true just that easily. There's going to be some renegotiating it. Think of a Mercury retrograde, how you get ideas, things are going great, signing contracts, whatever, and then the retrograde happens. And you're like, oh, shoot, I have to redo all of that, right? Venus is the same. All retrogrades work the same. Okay, so here are the dates. She starts her pre-shadow on August 31st, and then she turns retrograde in Scorpio. So she's moved into Scorpio. Now she's going to turn retrograde on October 3rd. So that's a ways out, right? We've got all of September that this story is starting. Now, when she moves into Scorpio, which is going to happen on September 10th, you may already start to see what the complications are. All right? Because she's moving from a sign she rules to Scorpio, a Mars ruled sign. Venus is not comfortable in Scorpio because think of it, Mars and Venus are opposites, right? Total polar opposites. And so when she gets into Scorpio, it's like she's uncomfortable. She doesn't know how to work. She doesn't have all of her power. Okay. So that's a very big deal. And you may start feeling more possessive about whatever it is, the relationship, the job, the art, the whatever, more clingy about it because Scorpio is deep, right? It's fixed water. It's the ice princess. It holds on to things. It broods, right? And so Venus is going to be there and you're going to be in this Venus thing that's already gotten started, right? While she was in Libra. And now you may be finding jealousy or possessiveness or doubt or whatever it is may just start to creep in. Yeah. So pay attention to that because that's going to complicate the story. And then, as I said, on October 3rd, she turns retrograde. Yeah. And now we got to go back over whatever it is we've been working on with another person at work, with our art, whatever it is. Remember, Venus also, she rules women, she rules sisters. So there are a lot of ways this could be playing out. You've got to figure out where are the Libra, Scorpio, what houses are they in your chart? Okay, now still retrograde, so still going back over old territory, but things are going to get a little bit better starting on October 25th because she'll still be retrograde, but she's going to go back into Libra. Now, check all of these dates. They can be a day off or whatever, depending on what time zone you're in. And I know people are listening to me from all over the world. Hi, world. Thank you. Yeah, so check the dates where you are. Venus is going to go back into Libra on October 25th. So still retrograde, still working things out, but now you'll start to see that you can work things out. It's going to get a little bit easier. Like, oh, we have to solve certain problems or communicate about certain issues that came up while I was retrograding in Scorpio, right? While Venus was going backwards in Scorpio. But now you'll start finding solutions because even though she's retrograde in Libra, at least she has her own resources there, right? Like the queen in her own kingdom, she owns all this stuff. Yeah. So if she needs something to solve a problem, it's right there. She's comfortable. She's got what she needs. So things will start getting better all the way starting October 25th, at least when she goes back in Libra. Okay. But we're still not done because we're still going retrograde. All right. She turns direct in Libra on November 13th. Everybody's like, okay, we're done. The retrograde's over. Yeah. Yeah, no, not exactly. Okay. So, yes, we are done. The retrograde is over. And Venus is in her kingdom. She's moving forward. So whatever it is that you've been going through, you're going to now feel like, okay, I've got the wind at my back and I'm moving forward and I'm optimistic and all of that kind of stuff, right? But remember, this is territory we've gone over before. This is her third pass now. She went forward over these degrees, backward over these degrees. Now she's going forward over these degrees again, right? So we're now in post retrograde shadow. So we're not just moving on to new stuff yet. That's the frustration at this point. Yes, things are getting resolved, problems are sorted out and all of that, but, we're still covering old territory, and that can feel frustrating, right? Like, I'm so ready to just move on to that next thing. If this is a love affair, I'm so ready to just put all of this behind us and us to have just smooth sailing, just completely free and easy. And let's put this stuff behind us. Not yet. Gonna be like, yeah, we're good. I'm feeling confident, but I would like to just have a little more distance from whatever this thing is we were going through. Then finally, Venus will go back into Scorpio on December 4th. Okay, we're still in shadow. We're still in shadow. And now she's in Mars's sign again. So what does that mean? We've gone through all of this, and now we end up in this place where Venus is still not comfortable. Yes, except now she's learned the lessons, she's worked through the problems, whatever it is. Remember, Venus goes through Mars-ruled signs all the time. So it's not the end of the world. It's just not as much fun when there's a retrograde attached. But anyway, so she goes back into Scorpio. We're still in the post retrograde shadow, and now she doesn't have her resources anymore, but it isn't as bad because she's worked through stuff. And now things you may actually find are more passion, more depth to the relationship, depth to the art. You may find more passion for the job you're working on, all of that kind of stuff. And still sorting through things because of that retrograde period not being totally over yet. But I think you'll be getting the better aspects of Scorpio at this point. And then finally, Venus leaves the whole shadow, everything. The retrograde is well and truly over on December 15th. So y'all think about it. Starting this week, all the way through till right before Christmas, think about how, oh my gosh, it's almost Christmas. I can't even. Anyway, I mean, the fact that I'm even mentioning Christmas already is kind of freaking me out, but you get what I'm saying. This whole end of the year, we're going to be dealing with, on some level, this Venus issue. All right. See why I wanted to give you all of this up front? And I promise I will go into the sign by signs next week when I'm back. This is already long enough and I just don't have time. But the big thing to do right now is start noticing. be really active in your noticing. I know that sounds kind of weird, right? But you know how you can just be going through life and doing your daily stuff, and we're all busy and whatever, right? And then you look back and you realize that there were all these signs that were there, or things were a brewing and you didn't actually see it because you were busy or whatever. Yeah, don't let that happen. You're going to have a much more meaningful experience in whatever this is hitting for you. You're going to have a much more meaningful and positive experience if you use this pre-shadow time to start seeing what's coming up, who's coming up, what's going on at work, what's going on with my friends, my lover, whatever, right? So start noticing. I strongly encourage you to journal through this period of time. I think it'll be really, really helpful on the other end. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. Please go listen to the episode about the special. It's like 8 minutes long or something, right? It's very, very short. It's just to hear about the special. And I hope to be seeing you all because I think the special is a really, really good one. And whether I see you or not, I'm just glad to be talking to you. And I want you all to know that I'm just grateful for you and I'm appreciative. And yeah, I just feel really blessed. So thank you. Please share, do all the stuff. And like always, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.